important is it to have a bounce-back game this week?
Man, it just gave me heads up that might be asked. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, every week you want to play your best, especially after the performance from our offense. Last week or Sunday, definitely looking to play better than that. So, I think the emphasis every week is to try to get better, but especially after a game like that, you definitely want to get back on track and then play well.
What's going wrong sort of with the third downs? I mean, last year you guys were pretty efficient. This year, obviously not off to a good start so far.
Yeah, just not executing. I think that's a broad term, but that's what I feel like really anything comes down to as far as, critical situations, whether it's red zone or third down or really anything. I think it's just a lack of execution, at different spots at different times. And we all have to do better at executing and, being ready for any look that could show up. And that's on us just of communicating. Like when we're on the field, we all got to communicate better. And we're getting better. There's things that we've improved on for sure, but we got to be better on third down and red zone.
Doug said last week he didn't think that practice was at the level that it needed to be. Was that something you noticed during the practice last week, and how do you, make sure that the intensity's there when you guys are out on the field?
Yeah, I think that's been addressed, and we talked about it. We even talked about it last week, and tried to finish the week strong. But I agree. I didn't think we were flying around quite as good as we were, maybe the week before. And I think that's the adjustment when you get in the season and when you play these long physical games. Even take like the Colts game, the first game. That was a physical, tough 4-quarter game, and you just got to get used to bouncing back and being ready to go on Wednesday, Thursday for practice because you got to get the game plan in. You got to get those reps to feel good about it. And I don't think we did a great job necessarily last week of doing that, especially on Wednesday. So that's the emphasis this week. The guys are ready to go. I think we're really locked in. Guys are ready. We got to bring some energy and get back on track.
In your post-game remarks on Sunday, you brought up the Houston game last year as sort of a reference to how poorly the offense executed in this particular game. Does stuff like that resonate with players the following year in terms of, in giving any motivation whatsoever, or is it just sort of an aside that really doesn't matter?
I think you can use it a little bit for sure. Don't think we played really our best either game against these guys, offensively anyways. Our defense played great both weeks last year against them, but I know offensively we didn't. And just going back, I think me and Josh were talking about early in the week, he's only, myself too, but he's been here longer, Josh Allen, he's only beat him once in his career. So that we know that too, and this team has been a team that we haven't had much success with. So, of course it's a new season and it's a new year, different. The teams look different, all that, but you can use definitely some of that as motivation, and we should be coming out ready to play.
What have you seen on tape from their defense? Obviously, their offense has had some struggles, but defensively, what do you see, particularly from Anderson, who's obviously seems to be a guy that's going to live up to where he was picked?
Yeah, he's a great player. And you look at San Francisco and kind of where Coach Ryans came from. I mean, that's what he's trying to do in Houston, and that scheme is kind of carrying over, and it all starts with the guys up front, and they got a good group up front that really make it go. And then the linebackers, they fly around. We've played Denzel, last year when he was with Vegas, and now he's with the Texans, and they got some young guys in there too that are playing good. And then the back end, obviously they've had some injuries early on, but they've been flying around playing great. I know Petrie is a guy that stuck out to us a lot last year when we played against him, and so we'll see if he's healthy to go this week. But just guys that are flying around, they're well coached. I feel like they're still getting their system going, and guys all in the right spots. But they play really hard. The group up front gets after the quarterback. They're really explosive. Those two edge guys are really good players. So just got to be it's like any week. There's great players all over the field, but you can see what they're trying to do there, and they're doing a good job the first 2 weeks. And I think their defense is playing pretty well and flying around.
You took a moment, to talk to Anthony Richardson after that game, give him a little bit of advice. Older quarterbacks, do you guys feel like a responsibility to kind of just give a little nugget to the younger guys, the rookies, when they come in the league? You know what I mean?
I mean, not necessarily. Of course, if you have something to say, you'd love to help any way you can. But I think there's just a mutual respect between quarterbacks, when you're playing, and that's something I noticed pretty early on as a rookie. And you always, see the other guy after the game and shake their hand, win or lose, and same way with other guys in the team too, but especially the quarterback, and you just show your respect, and something you always do. So if you ever have anything to say, like guys did that to me when I was a rookie and even last year some, and now just kind of doing the same thing if there is something that I feel like maybe need to share or, whatever it is. But I think it's just that kind of mutual respect for one another.
Does something stick with you that one of the quarterbacks told you as a rookie?
Trying to think back on it now. Nothing in particular. We had a lot of rough games in rookie year, so I think just guys talking to me. I remember Matt Stafford said, "Hey, just hang in there. It's going to be all right. So it's going to get better." And Joe Burrow said the same thing to me because obviously, he had a rougher rookie year, got hurt, and then bounced back and ended up having a great second year. That was, I think, the fourth game of the year, so we didn't know that was going to happen yet. But he kind of said the same thing to me after the game. So just encouraging, whatever it is, try to help those guys.
Trevor, I guess I get all losses bother you, but thinking back to Denver game in London and then Detroit game, it seemed like there was a little extra ticked off about those games, and you guys bounced back well. Kind of got the same feeling this past Sunday. You guys were a little bothered by that one a little bit more. How long did that resonate, and how much do you expect to bounce back because of that?
I think it sticks with you for, all the way till today. Today you gotta turn the page and you gotta move on. And of course, preparation-wise, I've already done that. Monday after we watch the tape, you move on to your preparation for the next opponent, but that still bothers you, and you want to bounce back. You want to have a great day at practice today. You want to kind of get that feeling out of your system. Obviously, when you don't execute and you don't play well, but just about channeling that in the right direction to putting together a great plan and preparing for this game, because that game's over. Can't go back and change it. We're 1-1. That's where we're at. And we got to be able to move on and figure out how can we get better. And I know we got the guys that do it, and we're going to. So, you obviously, that's the one thing about this game. It's different than basketball and baseball where you play maybe a few times in a week. Got to wait another week to go get that feeling out of your system. So, we're putting all of our efforts and focus into Houston, but definitely we're thinking about how we felt in that locker room and how we didn't perform like we know we can.
Expect to see the O-line in practice this week and your confidence level, and then kind of bouncing back, moving ahead.
I know those guys are we had some great meetings this morning like we always do on Wednesdays, and some of our protection stuff, and those guys are going to be just fine. Not worried about it. It's all of us. It's all of us playing together and communicating, and I don't think any player on offense played anywhere close to their best game on Sunday. So it's not just those guys. We all got to be better, and we will be, and I think we have the group that recognizes that. There's nobody that thinks that they played great on Sunday and thinks that they're above anyone else. So we understand where we're at, and I got a lot of confidence in those guys, and we'll put together a great plan and be prepared, and it starts today, and they're going to fly around. We'll have a great practice.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Appreciate y'all.